corny, cornball, the corniest human being to ever live. These are all things that I say to myself in the mirror after editing my videos on this channel. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Money Manziel MMA channel. It is a pleasure having you here with me today. Subscribe down below. I'm only going to say it once. If you are looking at my comment section and you're commenting, oh, like I hate you, like you have the worst takes ever, you can't get a main event right, A, you're correct. Don't say anything about it. B, hit subscribe while you're down there. So, what we are going to be talking about in today's video is kind of an offshoot from my tier list I made like a week ago about the most performative UFC fighters, right? I believe that a lot of performative guys are corny, and there were a lot of names I didn't get to in the process of making that video because I did not expect it to do the numbers that it did, to be honest with you. So, let's go not to AI this time because we've moved on, right? We understand that AI is bad, and we need to look at Urban Dictionary, the true patriots in this country, the real, brother, you haven't seen a hard day's work in your life. Those are the people that are on Urban Dictionary. They have provided the best definition for the word corny, where they say, idiots who try to make themselves look good in public, but really are embarrassing. Now, Exhibit A of someone who is corny to me. Patricio Pitbull, specifically at UFC 314, was a complete cornball. This guy was given Yair Rodriguez for Yair's only fight in the last decade at this point. He's given like number 4 featherweight, oh, big spot for Pitbull, you should be grateful you got it, because, he was kind of minting it up in the fucking PFL. But regardless, this guy gets on the stage wearing all black and shades. He's asked like an MMA media-asked question. Oh, but, Patricio, are you excited to be in Miami? Oh, are you excited to fight on Saturday? The dumbass questions that the reporters ask. And Patricio, shades on, won't take them off even though he's inside, puts the microphone to his face and goes, I'm gonna get the belt and I'm gonna knock him out. And then, slams the fucking microphone on the table. No one applauded at all. There were, faint cheers for some people that thought that he was, like a Make-A-Wish kid on the screen or something. And no one else said anything. To me, that is corny, especially when you consider the guy was, on, a one-fight winning streak. He then threw, 20 punches in the fight versus Yair. That's corny to me. And I really believe the best way to describe something that's corny, if you're still unsure, that picture of Flight React staring at the camera is the best definition that you are going to get of somebody who is corny. They make you make that face. So, with that being said, and with you having already subscribed to the channel, you better have done it. I'm fucking watching you. We are going to move over to the tier list. Let's get over there right now, fellas. As John Cena once said, the time is now. We've arrived at the tier list for today's video, and there are 3 distinct tiers that to me make a lot of sense for the cornball tier list. Speaking of which, the very top tier is the cornball tier. These are guys that, dude, you cringe at every word they say. They're annoying, obnoxious. Everything they do to you is objectively corny. You're like, oh, that's just fucking stupid, whatever they're doing. The meh tier is just kind of occasionally, and, half of the time you're like, oh, that's a stupid fucking one-liner you just said. The trash talk seems forced, the whole gimmick is kind of eh. But at least they're, objectively, you can kind of sometimes be like, oh, that was kind of cool, whatever they did then. I'm not too annoyed by, whatever they're saying right now. And then Pure Soul. These are people who might do dumb shit. They might do stuff that's supposed to be seen as cringy, but you think they're really good at heart, and this is honestly them. Like I said, kind of an offshoot from the performative video, but we're getting a little specific. We're getting technical on the Money Manziel MMA channel, and I may not be great at technical breakdowns, but I can technically break down, see what I did there, corny UFC fighters. So let's talk about number 1. This is going to be the most obvious pure soul of all time. Yuri Prochazka, to me, is the purest soul in the history of MMA. This is a guy that was using a sword at his gender reveal. A guy that, when Jamal Hill was like, I want to fight Yuri Prochazka, Yuri basically unprompted got on a video on Twitter he's in the mountains, right? Snow in the background. Looks at the camera and goes, congratulations, Jamal. I'm coming. And then, fucking sits there just staring at the camera for 5 seconds before screaming it in the middle of the mountains in the snow. One of the purest guys to ever grace this sport. God bless you, Yuri Prochazka. We will be Yuri fans on Saturday. If you are rooting for Carlos Ulberg, Listen, man, there's no redeeming that can be done. Easter already happened, but he will rise again to come and smite you. That is what will happen if you are a Carlos Ulberg fan on Saturday. So I don't make the rules. That's how it is. Let's move on to number 2 on this list. I'm going to put him in the meh tier. We're going to put Renato Moicano as a slightly corny UFC fighter. I used to think, back in the day, back during the prime, listen, man, people forget, man, prime Renato Moicano was a nightmare to deal with. No, Renato Moicano, when it was a cooler gimmick, when he had some aura to him, whenever this dude would get on the mic and he's like, oh, fuck Macron, like the disrespect, my brother, I do not like the globalists, or, whatever the fuck this dude was saying on the microphone. It used to be kind of like, oh shit, like there's some aura, like we can get a little TikTok edit out of this, right? I feel like now, like, specifically watching the Chris Duncan interview, and this is definitely not cope because I picked Chris Duncan to win, I felt like he was kind of forcing it a little bit, like, every 3 words he would get on the microphone and go, motherfuckers, fuck you fans, like, it was like, every time he would talk, it felt a little forced, a little corny to me, where I'm just kind of like, alright, bro, like, you're 36, almost 37 years old, fucking, you're pushing 40 still doing this. At a certain point, when is it corny? But because he had that run where I actually thought that Moicano was kind of cool, I'm going to put him in the meh tier. It kind of balances out in my eyes. Speaking of somebody that is just fucking corny, Josh Hokett, brother. Listen, I'm all for, building your own PR, right? Making a personality of yourself, doing whatever you have to do to promote your fights and get to the top of this sport that we call MMA, because it is ruthless, and I support anybody that is making it on their own. But Josh Hokett has effectively just ripped the Colby Covington and Chael Sonnen playbook and is doing it worse. At least Colby, you were watching and you were like, dude, this guy's crazy skilled, bro. Like, the crazy cardio, the wrestling was really good. He was beating dudes down, even if he wasn't getting finishes. You knew that Colby was a top fighter. I mean, a guy that really, I believe, would have been welterweight champ had it not been for Kamaru Usman. But Josh Hokett in the UFC has beat Max Jimenez and Denzel Freeman. And I'm supposed to sit here and be like, oh my god, dude, it's so cool when the Incredible Hawk gets on the microphone and starts talking about how he wants to beat up transgender people. I'm not that moved by that, bro. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's some crazy gimmick. I just feel like if you're legitimately really entertained by Josh Hokett's shit on the microphone afterwards, then I guess he's working on you, bro. But it just doesn't work on me. I just feel like it's straight up corny. I don't even sit at it and laugh. Like, I don't know. Maybe I have no humor. Maybe I can't enjoy a little bit of fucking comedy, but Josh Hokett, maybe he'll get to a point where it's so corny that it's funny. I kind of think that's what his goal is, but I've even seen the shit on Jaden Cable's channel where he's, like, chewing on shit the whole time and trying to pretend like he's a super villain. Like, I don't know, bro. He's really taking the Chael Sonnen overly corny route, and that makes you a cornball in my eyes. We're putting Josh Hokett in the cornball tier. Holy shit, we have a lot of fighters to get to. Let's keep moving here. Marlon Chito Vera, to me, is in the meh tier, and I'm going to tell you why. There are redeemable qualities about Chito. When Chito wins fights, like, when he knocks dudes out, it's pretty cool. Like, the whole, like, kind of aura off, just he's going to kind of stare at you angrily at range, and then randomly flick a high kick that puts you out cold, and, he's on the microphone afterwards, like, talking like he's, the next fucking, I don't know, like, Fidel Castro or something. Like, and that's a bad example, but, you know what I mean? Like, he's trying to, like, be like El Chapo or some shit. Like, he's trying to be cool as shit. And I fuck with aura farming to a certain extent. So I will say, admittedly, I liked Chito when he was fluking dudes. I may have made an entire 20-minute video about how he's a fraud. Ignore that, because, again, we contradict ourselves on this channel. We have a good time doing it, too. But I was all in on Chito as a flukester. I was down with it. Nowadays, Chito's kind of a cornball to me. This guy will get on every single, media day on Wednesday before his fights and go, I'm not going to do an accent, but the guy basically just says that he's evolved, that, now he's going to start throwing punches at the ripe age of 32. He wasn't doing it for the past 10 years, but now he's changed his whole style and he's going to show the new level of Marlon Vera. This is also the type of guy where every time he loses a close fight that he refuses to separate himself in, he claims robbery on social media. That's corny to me. Because I used to be on the Chito Vera train, I'm going to put him in meh. Kind of the same thing with Moicano. You're going to see a similar theme to that. But I'm putting Cheeto in the meh tier, man. Like, he's corny as shit. He used to not be. It used to be cool when he was getting the cool finishes, but I don't know, bro. Nowadays, like, yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Hold on. Let's move this crop up a little bit. Next up, man. Talking about John Silva here. Where do I have John Silva on this tier list? I believe that John Silva is probably in the cornball tier at this point. It used to be the case to me that John Silva was kind of cool, bro. Like, he was straight up weaponizing autism, going in there, and, back in the day, like, when he first debuted, he was doing the barking shit. It was super cool. Like, wow, this really autistic guy is knocking every dude out. He's going up in weight on, like, a week's notice for Stu Dober and knocking him out with an elbow, or at least causing a doctor stoppage. He went in there versus Bryce Mitchell, did his thing. But there's so many antics around John Silva fights where I just think it's kind of corny now. Like, the barking was cool when it started, but now he forces it at every press conference. Every single exchange, it's like he's trying to autism to the max. He's all of a sudden got, like, a beef with Mauricio Rufy. The whole, like, entitled title shot gimmick has kind of pushed him over the meh tier to me, where he gets on every interview claiming that Volkanovski's running from him. I'm sure that Volk is running from a guy who has one win that is relevant at featherweight, which is Arnold Allen. Otherwise, you got KO'd by Diego Lopez in your last fight, brother. So you're not deserving of a title shot. That's not how it works. And Volk isn't running from you either. And then the whole, like, screaming and crying at the belt thing was kind of corny to me. Like, I get it, it means a lot, bro, but at some point, you're 30 years old, right? Like, at some point, when is it going to become corny? I'm going to put John Silva in the cornball tier, right alongside Josh Hogan. We're going to move on to Sean O'Malley, who I have in the meh tier. Now, if it was the Sean O'Malley that existed no-fap, I'm quitting gooning, fucking, my right forearms get relaxing a little bit for the next couple months, Sean O'Malley, he would be in the cornball tier. The whole wearing that crazy, like, tinsel fucking outfit to the 299 press conference was corny as shit. The whole I'm undefeated, Cheeto didn't actually beat me gimmick was corny as hell. I think now he's a little subdued. I think he's a little bit calmer than he used to be, and he's kind of one of the guys that has regressed from cornball to meh. There's some other guys that have done the exact opposite, but no, to me, Sean O'Malley was a guy that used to be over-the-top corny, and nowadays, like, he still does the skits where you're a little like, alright, bro, like, you're fucking 31 years of age. Like, let's get it together a little bit. But outside of being in an open relationship, I don't think he's over the top corny. I just, like, whenever Sean talks, when he doesn't try the whole, like, I'm so cool and hip and I have 6'9" tattooed on me shit, I think he's just kind of a down-to-earth dude. So I'm going to put him in the meh tier because he used to be corny. And we're going to move on to Ian Gary. Now, you guys know this if you're a longtime supporter of the Money Man Style MMA channel. I've made some crazy claims about Ian Gary's skill level because I really believe that he is one of the most skilled, if not the most outside of Islam, the most skilled welterweight on the planet. But Ian Gary, at the end of the day, as much as I can defend the fighting ability, Ian Gary is an A-plus cornball. And remember, I'm not having these ranked specifically in terms of where I put them. It's just kind of like I put them in order of when I selected them. Ian Gary is such a fucking cornball, bro, and I cannot express this enough. The whole, like, I get it, man, you want to put yourself in the Brazilian culture, that's cool to me. I mean, Khalil does the same thing with the ties, right? But he, like, over the top tries to pretend like he's Brazilian, the whole speaking Portuguese gimmick now. When Carlos Prates watched whoever it was, John Silva, lose, Carlos was, like, hugging Prates, like, pretending to be sad and shit. The whole, like, on FaceTime stuff, the Hamzat situation where he, like, really instigated it, but then played victim afterwards. I don't know, bro. The Neil Magny shit was super fucking corny to me, where Neil Magny was like, yeah, like, I have spanked my child before, and Ian Gary legitimately, not that I necessarily support that, but Ian Gary got on there and acted like Neil Magny was putting, like, combos on his children and shit, making him out to be, like, the worst human being alive, when Neil Magny's, like, a good dude. I think that pushed him over the top. He's corny as shit to me. We're putting Ian Gary in the cornball tier, and we're moving on to Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland's an interesting case to me. Do I believe that there are moments when you listen to Sean Strickland where you're like, oh, like, you feel bad for the guy, this thing happened to him with his dad, he used to be a loser in high school, and, now he made something of himself. I can get behind that, but It is the 1 million other things that Sean Strickland does on a week-to-week basis that immediately puts him in the cornball tier right alongside these dudes. Not even necessarily, I mean, politically he's a cornball too, but regardless of that, putting that all aside, because honestly, man, like, you're a fighter. At the end of the day, what am I going to do? Most of these dudes are going to be in the same area politically. Sean Strickland plays up his personality so hard to win fans over. The whole edgy gimmick is so corny to me. It's why the Josh Hokic shit pisses me off too. You're just being edgy to be edgy. You're trying to reach this segment of the fan base that eats up whatever you're talking about. And with Sean Strickland, the whole, like, ice shit with Anthony Hernandez was corny as hell to me. The to the death stuff will always be corny. I don't know, the fake demon whole, like, I'm a warrior thing is so over the top, and he never does it. I mean, he was jabbing, teeping Hernandez until he finished him. So, at the end of the day, like, you know, you guys got away with Strickland getting one, but it looked like for a while we might have gotten the exact same thing we were going to get. But at the end of the day, he's corny. I'm not going to sit here and defend it. Like, it is what it is. He's corny as shit. And that's the world we live in. A guy that, to me, I'm going to say this, right? You guys might see him as a cornball. I do not, bro. I think, honest to God, that Corey Sandhagen's a pure soul. I just think this guy, I don't know how to describe this. Corey Sandhagen is, I don't know, bro. You ever know those guys in elementary school that would read like 1,000-page books? Like, you'd be in the library, you're reading like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, you're trying to see if Greg Heffley's genuinely gonna bag Holly Hills or not. Corey Sandhagen was the type of guy that would walk over to you with like the whole Harry Potter fucking saga, and he'd look at you and kind of giggle and then go back to reading his books. He just tries to be different, and I think he is just different. Not tries. I think him and Peyton Talbot are of a similar level, where they're just kind of different. Like, I don't know, they're just kind of out there people. Like, yes, Corey's whole, like, I deserve a title shot thing is kind of corny to me. I think during fight week he's a bit of a cornball, but overall, like, the whole, like, we are aliens in a different dimension, I just think he's kind of a weirdo. I don't necessarily think he's corny. And, you know, you can argue whether there's even a distinction there, and you can tell me I'm the dumbest guy alive. Whoa, like, what are you talking about, man? Like, you just like Corey, so you're not calling him corny. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that is what it is. Maybe I'm biased as shit. But I'm putting Corey in the pure souls. I just think he's kind of a weirdo, kind of an out there eccentric guy a little bit. So, we're putting Corey in the pure soul, fucking tier list. Ilia Topuria, to me, is in the meh tier. I believe that Ilia Topuria was gifted, I said this in the performative tier list too, Ilia Topuria was gifted one of the toughest nicknames I've ever heard, El Matador, which is a great nickname. And then he, solely out of straight cornball maxing abilities, tried to change his nickname to like The Legend, La Leyenda, or some shit like that. That's corny as hell to me. He is like an insightful guy. I listened to him on Joe Rogan, kind of begrudgingly. And other than the fact that he did the whole, I read lots of books. I cannot name these books, but I read lots of them. He's like doing that shit where the dude's like snapping on the podcast trying to remember the books he's read. He's doing like the LeBron gimmick. But no, like, he is a thoughtful guy, very insightful, but he is corny. I mean, all the tattoos that are very McGregor-esque, the whole, trying to steal the belt from Volk, trying to copy McGregor stuff, does make him corny. He's not like an all-caps cornball. What are we even doing? Dude, I'm 18 minutes, 19 minutes into this video. We're just saying shit, bro. I hope you guys enjoy these videos, man. Like, it's UFC 327 fight week, and this is the shit we're talking about. We've got a lot of more guys to go. We gotta hurry up. Ilia Topuria is kind of corny. We're putting him in the meh tier. Speaking of a guy to me, ooh, this is tough, you know. Jeez, I don't love Paddy Pimblett. I do believe that because I have a soft spot for the causes that he speaks out about, I'm going to put Paddy in the meh tier. I think the whole him and Molly McCann gimmick together was corny as shit. It would be in the cornball tier if I combined both of them. But I do respect that he always, after the fights, is respectful towards his opponents, in terms of the way he talks about them. You know, he never has been like a sore loser per se in fights. Like after the Gaethje one, he was really respectful in the post-fight interview, gave it up to him, even if he blamed him for eye pokes and shit afterwards. I think his whole like trash talking shit is corny as hell to me. Like forcing the whole like, oh, like, you know, this guy's a sausage, like shit like that's a little corny, but He's not that corny. I think his fan base pushes him into the mat tier more than anything. Paddy's fan base is fucking annoying. So, Paddy Pimblett, you're going in the mat tier just for bringing Shamrock to the UFC. Let's move on to MVP. Man. I'm going to put MVP right alongside Paddy Pimblett. He would not have been in the mat tier had it not been for his last fight. I am all for fighters speaking out about fighter pay. I think it's a really important topic that should be addressed, and I don't know how it'll ever get fixed, but I think it's good that the topic got addressed when it did, and I'm happy that MVP took a principled stand. But you cannot come out to everything you come out to, "They Don't Care About Us" by Michael Jackson, and then put on one of the worst fights I've ever seen in UFC history. It's kind of the Jose Aldo thing with MVP, where, yes, it is Jose Aldo's responsibility to get off the cage, the same way it is MVP's responsibility to eventually force action, even if he is a counter-striker. But at the same time, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's their responsibility. You have to do something at some point. Yes, we can defend you to a certain point. MVP is a very skilled striker. He needs someone to force offense on him, and then he can showcase all his weapons. You can't tell a guy to completely change his style just because another guy isn't entertaining him. At the same time, it is your responsibility to fucking fight somebody. So, to me, MVP is a little corny. Don't look up his dad on Google. Unfortunate stuff going on there. I do think at a certain point, being 40 years old with the antics that he does with the whole, Cobra shit and whatever else is a little corny. You might disagree. You might think he's kind of a pure soul that's just a little funny, but I don't know, bro. To me, he's kind of corny. Speaking of all-time cornballs, Colby Covington, brother. Pray for Colby Covington, man. This guy was a bootlicker for fucking 10 years running just to not fight on the White House card. How shameful is that, man? You spend your whole fucking existence glazing the shit out of any politician that comes your way, Dana White, whoever else. You make it your life's mission for them to like you. You want the UFC fan base to hate you. This guy, after UFC 268, was getting booed. He put up a great performance, but he lost, and he knew that he was not getting back to a title anytime soon. Little did he know he'd get one of the most undeserved title shots in UFC history in 2 years. But even off the top of that, this guy created the whole "I'm unlikable" gimmick. At the UFC 268 post-fight press conference, he sat there and goes, "Oh, well, nobody likes me. I don't know why they don't like me, but I guess that's what I've done." And he tried to pretend like he was sad and shit. Like he didn't deserve to be disliked by the fan base. You caused it. You are a cornball. The George Washington dress-up shit was corny as hell, too. Colby Covington, you are an all-time cornball. Welcome to the top of the list. Let's move on to another guy. Where is Michael Chandler on this list? I'm putting Chandler at the top. You might think this is a political thing. I really don't think it is, because I've got John Silva and Ian Gary there. Aside from politics, for a lot of these guys, I just think they're corny anyways. Michael Chandler, to me, is A-tier cornball. This guy, the whole, calling out Conor McGregor for 4 years straight, he went on that podcast and was like, "My 1-year plan, beat Charles, beat Max Holloway, BMF belt. I'm going to get the title and fight Ilia Topuria and knock him out." And then he lost the fight with Charles, so none of it mattered. I just think Michael Chandler's corny. I'm trying to rush through this video so you don't have to sit here forever. He's corny as hell to me. I'm burning up in this car. I don't need to explain it much more than that. You know what I'm talking about. If you've watched the UFC, if you've listened to this guy do his fucking interviews about, how he's put in the work and this time's going to be different, I think Michael Chandler's corny. Let's move on, man, to Israel Adesanya, who to me is in the mat tier, man, slightly because I feel bad for Izzy. Had I not felt bad for Izzy in his whole, kind of being washed now gimmick, I would probably put him in the cornball tier, especially during his title reign. He was so corny when he was the champion. Oh my god, I'm gonna leave you on skates, and when I do, I'm gonna leave you frozen like Elsa, and then slam the microphone down. Oh my god, man, what a fucking cornball. I manifested this. Corny as shit. Oh, you know what? Fuck it, bro. I'm putting him in the cornball tier. I don't care. I forgot about the whole manifested this shit. And then he got in the octagon drunk as fuck, yelling at DDP. Izzy's a cornball. He is washed, and I do feel bad for him, but he's corny as hell. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's not. You're in that tier, brother. We got 3 guys left to talk about. This car is a fucking sauna, by the way. I have the AC off. The car is off. I am dying in this car right now. This is the dedication I have to this channel. I am going to get out of this car afterwards, and I'm going to be fucking drenched in sweat. People are going to be staring at me. The things I do for the Money Manziel MMA channel. Let's move on, man. Hamzat Chimaev. Is Hamzat a cornball to me? I'm gonna say a little bit. I think his whole, like, especially when he, like, during the Nate Diaz 170 days, he was corny as hell. The whole, like, I'm untouchable, especially when he missed weight and then got on the microphone. Fuck you guys, bro. Fuck you guys. I'm gonna smash all of you, bro. Bro, I fucked this guy, bro. Bro, I fucking smashed this guy, bro. Bro, I fucked this guy up, bro. I missed weight by 10 pounds. I don't give a shit about this, bro. You know what I mean? Corny. Not a cornball. Like, I just think he's kind of a crazy, aggressive, doesn't understand the English language to the full extent guy, but I don't know, man. Hamzat Chimaev is up there for me. A pure soul in the biggest sense of the word. Peyton Talbot, to me, I said he was performative a little bit. I've lied. I've changed my mind. The comments have changed my mind. I think Peyton Talbot's just a cool-ass dude that's a little out there. Does shit the different way, the way you're not supposed to. I like Peyton Talbot, man. I'm putting him in the pure soul tier. I'm literally dying in this car. So we're going to get to Shamrock, we're going to put him at the front, honestly. Shamrock is the biggest cornball in UFC history. Come out talking all this shit in the world, just fucking talking shit to every UFC fighter. Dana, give me my shot. The guy's a straight-up Nepo baby because of Paddy Pimblett. Got into the UFC, got battered by Nurullo Aliyev. You should be ashamed of yourself. And then the second fight, you're talking more shit on Twitter, telling everyone, oh my god, I've improved. You walk out to, like, SD Kid or some shit afterwards, right? You go out there after talking so much shit, walking up, faking a handshake, and shoving Kareem Abdul El Sawire, or however you say his fucking name. You get 30-27 and battered again after doing the whole fake demon gimmick. You are a cornball of the highest order. You should be cut from the UFC and never fight in MMA again. Complete cornball is Shamrock. Yeah, man, let's move back over to the outro slide because we have finished up the tier list, boys. I hope you enjoy it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for the video today. I hope you all enjoyed. It was so much fun to put together and talk about. Listen, man, my TikTok is at MoneyManziel MMA. My X is at MoneyManziel MMA. Like, comment, and subscribe down below. I hope you all have a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday full of happiness and fulfillment. I'll see you Wednesday. My predictions will be out Thursday for UFC 327. I'll see you in the next one, boys. Peace out.